There are many reasons why people who keep snakes keep snakes. They're beautiful, for one thing. They're still a relatively unusual choice of pet, so perhaps some people like the novelty factor. And I think there are probably those who enjoy the idea of keeping an animal that a lot of other people are afraid of. But surely one reason that people keep snakes is that they want the thrill of being at close quarters with what, to all intents and purposes, is a wild animal. For which reason, I don't understand the current trend for breeding snakes who don't look like wild animals at all, and in fact would struggle to survive in the wild because they would stick out like sore thumbs. I first kept snakes in the early 1980s, when ball pythons looked like this. Now I wouldn't know where to go to find a ball python who looked like that. All the ones you see in pet shops or for sale online carry particular combinations of genes that make them albino or pied, or in some rare and expensive cases, bright orange. The same kind of thing happened with dogs, who of course are all descended from wolves. Excuse the digression, I want to talk about dogs and wolves just for a second, but I'll swing right back to snakes very shortly. It's estimated that humankind's relationship with dogs began between 20,000 and 40,000 years ago. Presumably, a wolf was attracted to the warmth of a human campfire and someone threw him or her a piece of meat or a bone, and then I guess the same thing happened the next night, so a pattern was established. Probably the person throwing the meat enjoyed being the wolf guy in the village, and the wolf obviously appreciated the food. Fast forward several millennia, and now we have pet dogs that still look a bit like wolves. We have dogs that will fit in your handbag. We have dogs with squished up noses. We have dogs with designer wrinkles, and they're all adorable. And of course, some of them have genetic health problems that are a direct result of humans trying to bend nature to their will. But it kind of makes sense with dogs. As companions, dogs are very versatile. They'll cuddle up with you, they'll guard your house, they'll go on Britain's Got Talent with you, they'll herd your sheep. But snakes are different. You can have a lovely relationship with a snake, but it has to be very much on their terms. You can interact with them, but you shouldn't overdo it, and you have to let them do their thing. And how they do their thing isn't going to be very much different if they've got spots when they were originally supposed to have stripes or whatever. It puts me in mind of that computer game, Fortnite. I don't have any first-hand experience of that game, but a friend of mine was telling me a few years ago that her sons played it, and she said they would cheerfully spend upwards of £20 on a new skin for their online character. Skins just means clothes. So if you buy a new skin, your character will be dressed differently. But that's all. They won't have any special abilities or extra weapons or anything. There won't be a ray gun in the pocket of the new trousers. Apologies to any Fortnite players out there, I really don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe ray guns aren't a Fortnite thing. Anyway, I'm not judging. People can spend their money on what they like. But in the same way that the makers of Fortnite managed to convince players to buy new skins, making their avatars look different while remaining fundamentally the same, I feel that snake breeders have discovered a way to get their customers to pay a lot of money for variations on a model that was perfect to start with. I can understand that if you're planning to keep 20 ball pythons, you might prefer them not to all look alike. But what kind of relationship are you going to have with 20 ball pythons? Plus, the idea of collecting animals like they were Funko Pops or fidget spinners is a bit worrying. Also, just as some dog breeds have particular health problems, some morphs have issues. Probably most are okay, I don't know, but it's something to consider. This is Sunny, our Carl Sunglow Jungle 66% het for Anery, Boa and Parata. Yeah, I know, and much as I hate to contradict the title of my own video, I suppose I have to acknowledge that I do get the morph thing a bit. I semi-get the morph thing. Let me tell you what happened. A couple of years ago, we already had Lulu, and we had no immediate plans to buy another boa. We didn't really have the money at the time for the vivarium and everything. But I was in the habit of window shopping on Morph Market, which is the main online reptile retailer. And one day I saw a picture of a really pretty female albino boa. I showed the picture to my wife and she really liked the boa too. And from that day on, we checked Morph Market on a daily basis to make sure she was still there. At some point, we started calling her Pancake. Then one day, we decided we were ready for another boa. We had the money, and so, of course, we wanted to buy Pancake. And I went on to Morph Market to make the purchase, but she'd gone. Someone had bought her since the last time I visited the site, which would probably have been the day before. Such is life, never mind. But the idea of getting a yellowy, orangey snake had really taken root, and thereafter, when I went on to Morph Market, my eye was drawn to the albinos. And one day, we saw this lovely boy. And of course, we got him, and I'm so glad we did. But I want to stress that what's special about him is not his colouring, it's his lovely, gentle personality. I wouldn't mind if all the orange pigment came off with his next shed. I'd be a bit alarmed, of course, but I'd love him just the same. Again, I'm not judging or saying there's anything wrong with liking morphs. I just think it's possible to get hypnotised by the variety of morphs that's out there and base your choice of snake on criteria that don't really count for anything. I'd like to leave you with this parting thought. If you're considering buying this girl, who is currently available on Morph Market, you might instead consider buying this girl, who is also available on Morph Market. She looks almost exactly the same. And with the money you save, you could buy her a really, really nice vivarium.